of actually going there and drinking a little bit of a drop on there, let's go ahead and like mist it a little bit. And it keeps it nice and wet. A little bit more there. You don't need that much water at all, but it tends to make it a little bit easier to work with. And I don't care which side of the scale you start on. I'm just going to go ahead and start on this guy. And then maybe I watered it down a little bit too much. That's okay. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit thicker. Okay, now that we have that done, Katie, can you grab me the illustration board on the top there, the one with all the crap painted on the top of it? I'm just going to do this on the side, and you may want to do it on like a scrap piece of paper or something like that. It's a lot easier to see whether you've matched the color if you have it like right next to it. So there's my red, and so I don't contaminate the red that I have there. I'm going to rinse that out. And I'm kind of rough on my brushes. I just beat the hell out of them. Because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get the paint like in between, where the stick meets the brush right there. And then I always have like some kind of paper towel that I can like wipe off the excess. Now I want to mix up pure gray, but I want it to be the exact same value. And I can tell right off the bat that this is probably a little bit too dark. One of the problems with acrylic is they dry a little bit darker. Same value. Like if you take a value scale, like 1 to 10, 10 being black, try to almost like pretend that you're colorblind. It's not a very dark color. It's not like black. It's not really white either. So if you were to place that red in the value scale, where do you think you'd place it? Out of curiosity. Do you have any guesses? Like 5, 6, somewhere around the middle. This is one of the reasons why I did this one. It's probably one of the easier ones to do. Some of the darker colors are like a real pain to do. And what I would probably do is try to make sure that dries, because you don't really want to contaminate it there. I'll ask you guys what you think. What do you think? Do you think that gray kind of matches, or too dark? And you can kind of tell, and some people have really easy time seeing it, some people maybe not so much. You can follow the edge right here, where the dark gray is juxtaposed next to the pure red, and follow that edge, and see all of a sudden it kind of changes a little bit. It almost seems like it hovers. It's called like vibrating color. I've also heard it referred as like a scintillation when I was in art school. So I think that's pretty close. I have a feeling this gray is going to dry a little bit darker, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more there. If I was you, I'd probably mix up like a bigger batch, but I had to borrow some light from Canada, so I'm not going to go crazy here. So I think that's enough. I'll go ahead and place this here. While I have this out, you can incorporate dry media in here. This is actually just like a pencil drawing, a little bit of colored pencil. Went over it with a wash, and then you can paint on top of it. If you water down your paint enough, you can draw on top of it, and vice versa. But for right now, I want to make sure you guys can get the whole scale thing down. So, a little bit more. That isn't really too opaque. And if you can still see the paper underneath, what I would advise you to do is just go ahead and maybe go over it one more time, because you want to see the true potential of the paint. And if it's kind of watered down, you're seeing the white underneath, and it's not really seeing its true color. And you can work either way. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to work from the gray side. And I'm just adding a little bit of red at a time. It's slowly starting to kind of shift. Probably way too much. I'm doing this kind of quick. I'd like you guys to take a little more time on this. Now when I get to this stage, what I'm always afraid of doing is having this color. Once I get here, it's almost like you can turn on the brakes quick enough, and all of a sudden you get to the red, and you're like, oh crap, that is a very nice transition. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to this side now. I've seen some students like go directly in the middle, half and half, and then work from the center. I think my gray was probably a little bit too dark. That's okay. That's basically the idea around it. And so you're going to be doing a tone scale, a gray scale, which is just black to white, and then a tint scale is when you add the pure color to white, and then shade is when you add the black to it. While I have you here, let me go ahead and show you what the yellow is going to look like. Because the yellow is a little bit tougher to do. Now, if you think about the value scale, 10 being black, where would you say the yellow is? Like a 2, maybe a 3, sometimes maybe just like a 1.5. And my brushes are really dirty here, so I'm going to go ahead and switch. If you do buy brushes, unless you really like doing washes, you can get something like this. I see a lot of students try to work with a brush like this, and when you're working really thick, it's just going to make a mess. It doesn't really have the stiffness there. If you like working thick, what I would advise you to do is get a bristle brush. These guys, and you can get these really cheap. These are like really thick, and you can do dry brushing and whatnot. I don't really want to talk about rendering or blending at this point. So, got my pure yellow. I'm going to go ahead and do it right here. And I have a feeling this is kind of a transparent yellow. You can see when you go over the tape, like you can really see the tape there. I want you to see the true potential of the paint. So if you have a very, very, very transparent color, like definitely the green that's in your kit, the phthalo, I'm not sure what other colors are really transparent. If that's the case, add a teeny bit of white to your pure color. And that'll make it a little more opaque, and it'll just cover it a little bit better. I think that's probably it right there. It's almost like white with a dirty brush. I'll go ahead and, what you guys can do if you don't have like a scrap piece of illustration board, is just kind of do it on the side right next to it. I think that's probably pretty close. Then go ahead and basically start the whole process over. Have the gray here, and then gradually go ahead and